15, I'll call a common council meeting to order. Could we have roll call, please?
Dankert. Here. Gallops. Kotsky.
Here.
Iverson.
Here.
Reamer.
Here.
Schatzinger. Sorensen.
Here.
Split.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A reading from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10. So Jesus called his disciples and said to them, "You know that among the Gentiles, those whom they recognize as their rulers lord it over them, and their great ones are tyrants over them. But it is not so among you. But whoever wishes to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you must be slave of all." We pray. Almighty, gracious, and eternal God, be present with this meeting, bless this meeting, and give our city leaders your servant's heart. We pray in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I move we approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Alan, seconded by John. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving tonight's agenda say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That's approved. Any public comment? No. Moving on to our consent calendar. Is there a motion to approve our consent calendar as published, consisting of a certificate of appropriateness for 223 Watson Street?
I move that we accept the certificate of appropriateness for 223 Watson Street.
I'll second.
A motion by Ellen, seconded by Jonathan. Any discussion on the consent calendar? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the certificate of appropriateness say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. All right, moving into our agenda items. First one is to approve an annual alcohol beverage license requested for the period of June 30, or through June 30, 2026, for fermented malt beverages and/or intoxicating liquors. This is for Crimson Still LLC at 221 Watson Street.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second it.
Motion by Jonathan, seconded by Ellen. Any discussion?
Here.
Sure. Would you like to come up and tell us about your new establishment?
Good evening. My name is Erin O'Toole Turner, and this is my husband, Kyle Turner. We just closed on Friday on the 221 Watson property, which we intend to put in a cocktail lounge and small bite eatery with a focus on using local vendors and ingredients. Both of us work full-time. I'm a teacher at Laconia High School for Business 9 through 12, and Kyle.
I work at Mercury Racing as a manufacturing technician.
But we both, Kyle is a graduate of Ripon College. Since moving to Ripon, or since my husband brought me to this area, I've fallen in love with downtown Ripon. I even had my bachelorette party here. So it's an area that we really enjoy what the downtown district has done, both locally and also in regards to bringing people to the city. And we would love to be a part of that and provide another opportunity for those who not only live in the city, but also come to experience the city. So we're hoping to do that through our lounge.
When do you hope to open?
Our tentative hope is by the November wine walk. We're saying by late fall of 2025 to be safe, which gives us till December 21st. So that's our plan though. Any other questions we can answer? Sure.
Is that the old Fat Bruce's building?
It is.
Okay,
It
great.
is indeed, yep.
As chairman of the Historic Preservation Commission, I'd just like to inform you that if you'd make any changes to the outside of the building or sign permits needed,
Yeah.
it'll go through Historic Preservation.
Yeah, you guys have a really nice resource online.
Okay,
Super
good.
helpful, so
Perfect.
awesome, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this annual alcohol beverage license, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Approved.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Selfridge Park project bid review and approval. We have had 3 bidders, I believe, or 4 bidders for this project, with the lowest bid coming in as RLAM. You have the staff report in your packet. Adam, do you have any further information for it?
So in your packet, there's quite a bit of information, including the overall summary of the project, funding mechanisms, the fact that we received the stewardship grant about a year and a half ago, and then the bid results, which we had 4 bids, including the low bid from RLAM totaling $799,192.90. There's a separate procurement for a open-air shelter for $79,476.40 through Sourcewell, through a company called Polygon, where we have spec'd out a shelter outside of that project due to just budget and ability to have that installed as part of the project, but not marked up or put into the bid. Dan from MSA is on the line. There's a notice of award for the project for RLAM, and then we're just seeking a couple motions regarding the actual project. So the RLAM bid and then the purchase of the Polygon shelter. So happy to answer any questions. The project plan is also in your packet. That was what was bid. Kind of gives you more comprehensive detail of what is all entailed in the project, including the pathway, shelter, upgrades with like electrical, bollard lighting, site furnishings, which will have to come back and approve site furnishing purchases in the future, parking lot, additional stormwater area. It seems ridiculous, but that's what we have to do. We have to put a small retention pond next to the parking lot, and then the kayak launch and fishing pier. Overall, Parks and Rec Committee did review the project plan and bid and recommended that the council move forward with approving the project. Happy to answer any questions. Dan can too.
No one.
I move that we accept the recommended bid from, is it RLAM in the amount of $799,192.90.
I'll second.
Motion by Ellen, second by John. Any discussion on this motion?
This was a question. Here you go. There's a building up there already, right?
There is the shelter with the bathrooms.
Yes, okay. Because I thought there was a building they used to call the warming house or something like that.
Yep, and that is staying. The only site improvements generally to that structure will be electrical, because currently the electrical panel, I believe, is on and exposed in the open air shelter. There's like an octagon shelter there. That one will be removed. It's not large enough to really, reserve or do anything with. It's more of just a cover. And so that'll be removed. The Polygon will replace that, but then the electrical improvements will go and be housed at the shelter. So it's more appropriate, less exposed, on and on and on.
So that answered part of my question. I was going to ask, because I saw both of them in the drawing, so I was going to ask which one of those is being removed. So you answered that. My other question was like, I know our lamb, happy that it's local. I guess do they have experience with general contracting? I just haven't seen them come up in our bids before, or I'm not remembering.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked with them on multiple projects over, I mean, decades, right? More recently, State Street, they did the work and the bridge work there. So they list in some of their information projects that they've done similar. So they have done similar projects in communities around us where they're doing trails. They have worked on, I believe they may have put in part of the trail up at Ripon. When we did the senior activity center, maybe.
I believe so.
So they've been a sub or general on projects, you know, over the last couple of years, and have a substantial history in working in Ripon.
I have personally seen one of their parks. It's up at Fox Crossing or Appleton, whatever, Greenville, one of those little subdivisions up there. And they've done really, really good work. It's excellent work.
Yeah, I remember them from being our subs in the past and seeing stuff. I just meant as a general. But.
I do have another, I can't find, and I probably overlooked it, where the kayak launch is going to go.
The kayak launch is kind of right off of the parking lot area. So we want to make it as accessible as possible. So there's a couple like accessible like stalls there, and then a path down to it. So it's kind of right as you enter the
I see it
parking
there.
lot. Yep. And then
I remember that from 2 years ago when we had that plan. I would just caution that little corner gets a lot of algae and built up there. It gets a little yucky in the summertime sometimes. Just a thought.
Yep.
You don't want to be launching into a green mess, but okay.
Any other questions or discussion on this motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of awarding RLAM the project in the amount of $799,192.90 for Selfridge Park, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That is approved. Would anyone like to make a motion for the Polygon Shelter?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Jonathan, second by Mark. Any discussion there? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the Polygon Shelter, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That is approved as well. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Our next item is PSA Amendment Number 1 for the Selfridge Park improvements. Adam?
Dan is on as well. He can maybe discuss this a little bit too, but we originally signed a contract with MSA to design the project for approximately $89,000. This would be the second part of it, which would include construction administration and then staking and observation. This is a not to exceed amount. Dan and I have talked. The hope is to be under that amount, particularly for the construction, staking, and observation. They have obviously someone in town doing the Hamburg Henny project, so we tried to keep it, Dan kind of gets, Dan, you can talk about your method and how you estimate this out, but it'd be around $86,000 maximum to do construction observation and get the project completed. Looks like we could be working on things into next year, so it will be a project that goes into 2026. And Dan, you can add anything you'd like.
Yeah, I guess I would just add that we're hoping that this is worst case scenario. As Adam said, there's other projects going on where we are Hamburg Henny, we have this project, we have the library, so I think that there are chances to try to cut down on some of the travel time and trips and things like that by bundling some of these things. So that 46,000, I'm hoping is a conservative effort. Also, in this type of project, there's a lot more time up front. And so that's kind of seen in the construction administration. There's a lot more uniqueness than there is, say, on a road project or something like that. So there's a little bit more time of us reviewing submittals and things like that. So there's a little bit more time, again, on the front end of this than there is on the construction, staking, and observation. So I guess happy to answer any other questions. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got.
And Dan, does this cover any bid, or not bid, grant administration and reporting?
That is not included in this. I believe, Adam, we're already under contract for the stewardship grant application and stuff, are we not?
I don't know, but we may take care of that internally. That's not a hard process to go through, so we're not going to be requesting services.
So this is an easier grant than some of the other ones?
Yes, this is not a CDBG grant.
Okay, thank you. Mark?
Less of a question, just more of a general comment. I think it's important that we have a competent engineering team to review as construction goes on. This is in a pretty ecologically sensitive area right by the mill pond. As you said, we know there's nature that is there and gathers up, and like I said, I just wanted to kind of make the point that yes, it's important that as construction is going on, that the silt fencing and erosion control and all of that is in place. And then I always like to see when we're doing pavement or any sort of street construction that the bases of the road and all the foundations for any of our pavement structures or concrete structures are in place and up to what they should be before we continue on with projects that hopefully will last many, many, many years and be enjoyed by a lot of our population. With that being said, I will make a movement to accept amendment number 1 for the Selfridge Park improvements with fees to MSA.
And recommend adding amount not to exceed 86,000.
Not to exceed 86,000.
I'll second.
Motion by Mark, second by Ellen. Discussion on the motion. If there is no discussion, all those in favor of approving the PSA amendment number 1 for the amount not to exceed $86,000, say aye.
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 Opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
All right, let me find the next section of the booklet here. Somewhere in there. All right, next up is security surveillance system projects. This was an RFP for the selection and authorization of installing surveillance cameras at several locations around the city.
I will be abstaining from discussion and vote on this one.
Thank you. All right, there's a stack report. So for this, we received 4 bids back for the RFP, and too much stuff here. Well, Adam, you got this pretty well memorized if you want to take it.
I hope, okay, sorry. So in your packets, you have a staff report regarding the security and surveillance system RFP and the project. So this goes back a couple years now. We've been talking about it internally, particularly in our park system where we've seen maybe some vandalism or issues within bathrooms, things of that nature. And we have in the past used more less sophisticated equipment like trail cameras and things like that. So this is kind of an elevation from those efforts to bring some more surveillance and security to our city facilities. Currently, there are really no active security measures like this, or surveillance measures, in any of our facilities. And ultimately, we tried to put together a bid package that addressed multiple locations with one vendor, and then submitted out to a number of vendors to see where there was interest. We publicized it and received 4 responses back from Cablecom, Baycom, Complex Security Solutions, and Martin Systems. From that, the police department and administration reviewed the proposals and kind of created a list of 2 finalists, did interviews to see kind of what kind of technology was being implemented, and review the overall cost. We did an analysis of cost of life. What does this cost over the next 10 years? And while some of these are less upfront with fees and everything, ultimately the recommendation was finance, as every proposal is pretty much in the mix because they're all within about $20,000 by the time you phase in everything. So you want to get the best technology for the dollar amount you're spending. We broke it down into 2 phases. The first phase being the projects that are underway, so adding 2 or 3 cameras to Selfridge Park. The Ripon Public Library, in their plan, put in 22 spots for cameras. While we don't anticipate 22 cameras going into the library, we need to narrow that down so that cost will reduce the overall proposal. They do want to have some security there for their staff as well as the exterior, because there's been issues in the past, and they are improving the exterior of their facility toward the creek. And then the other one would be DPW facility, which is pretty much just kind of entryway exterior cameras. Then phase 2, which we would budget for in this upcoming year 2026 budget, would be City Hall, Senior Center, Murray Park, and Barlow Park shelters. So those are kind of the core areas we're looking to address. We went through the analysis, went through the review, and we would recommend use of Baycom for the vendor, and request the council authorize the city staff to execute all necessary agreements and implement the project scope with a total cost not to exceed the $110,385.10 that was estimated in the proposal. Generally speaking, Baycom's proposal, the dollars, while a little bit more than Complex Security, the overall platform and ability for our police department and other staff to use the system while being able to track and use the technology to better refine, surveillance, and the technology it's using from a cloud-based and access-based and just overall platform was a superior product than Complex Security, which was more localized and a little less advanced. So we would recommend, if we want to move forward with this project, select Baycom. Again, this is meant for surveillance and security measures in these public facilities. We're not going inside of facilities, really. A lot of this is at park shelters, not in like bathroom areas, right? We're not like, this is, and then like at City Hall here, one in the front entryway and just one out back. Nothing where we're getting into workspaces, anything like that, just kind of stepping into more public areas for surveillance to ensure that if anything happens, or a deterrent to vandalism and other issues. So Bill certainly can comment if he wants, but that's the overall plan.
Ellen?
I move that we accept the bid from Baycom in the amount of $110,385.10.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Motion by Ellen, second by Jonathan. Discussion. Steve?
Was this ever budgeted for anything? Or is this just above and beyond what we already budget, in our budget?
So I would say that on the phase one projects, these are in the actual like project plans, right? So we've like put in conduit, we just haven't put in the technology. So this will be incorporated into those projects, right? The second phase of it, which we can phase this over however period we want to, like however long, but the intention would be then to, in the upcoming year's budget, implement phase two in the budget. There'll be ongoing costs, but those ongoing costs are minimal from the perspective of the overall project cost, because it's like cellular connectivity. So we'll roll those into the budget as well. But overall, this has been discussed and planned for in the projects we have in phase one. And in phase two, we've had a goal to get these in the parks or in these areas. And we would then prioritize it depending on this vote in next year's budget.
Thank you.
The reason I support this particular choice of vendor is because of the cloud system and the fact that we will not have to be horsing around with different servers and having end-of-life things with that. It's a huge storage capacity. And the second point is, and Doug may be able to speak to this too, we put in a camera system at the fire district building. We were having problems with a stalker. And once that camera system went in, we had no more problems. So they are valuable.
Just a question. So the 125 per camera is part of the ongoing like cost to it? What's the monthly or yearly SIM card cost per camera or per router?
We anticipate that being around $40 a month per camera.
Okay.
So we'll work through FirstNet to get that through there.
That should primarily be the cameras in the parks that are attached to a building. John?
First I'll say, I know nothing about security cameras. So, I mean, Baycom is 110, this Martin Systems is 55. Can you quickly just explain to me, you know, that's a huge difference. And I'm used to seeing like a Ring doorbell on HSN for less than $100.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, so.
Yeah, so I would say in terms of the levels, Martin Systems went for a lower level camera and a lower level system to operate, right? So, for example, a lot of things may not be, well, it's more cost effective, right? The ongoing maintenance that Martin, charges increases their cost over a 10-year period because we have to pay for ongoing support, we have to pay for certain things. So this is just the base price. What you don't see is the long-term cost of this. So by the time, you're actually doing this over 10 years, the Martin gets over $100,000 and the warranty is like 3 years or 5 years on a camera versus say Baycom's a 10-year warranty on a camera. The other thing is the system that we operate it with and the ability to search and use the system to, like, if you walk in a park and you're wearing a gray shirt, with the Baycom system, we can search gray shirt, male, and it will pull every gray shirt and male that's been in the park that's been recorded for the last 120 days, right? Okay. It's just a different level of being able to operate the system and the features they offer. Baycom has a long history in public safety as well. They do other things. So they do, for Fond du Lac County, the towers and the communication systems, sell radios. So there is, I think, also a little bit of more service there that we're familiar with Baycom versus Martin Systems. So while it is, looks like double the cost, at the end of the day, through the life of the actual anticipated project, which is about 10 years maybe you get, it's more similar than these numbers look, and the technology is just superior from a quality and just management perspective.
Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of awarding the security surveillance system project to Baycom in the amount of $110,385.10, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? And abstentions.
Abstain.
Abstain.
That count, Adam?
Does that count? Attorney,
Yeah, we've got four
okay.
positive votes.
Yeah, we're fine.
All right. Moving to our next item, a resolution rescinding resolution number 2005-16, establishing conditions for municipal water connections in the FF/NN landfill area. This is a resolution that was reviewed by the Plan Commission about a week and a half ago and was recommended to bring to the full council for approval. This pertains to the area in the township of Ripon near the dump site that had contaminated wells. And that resolution allowed for connection to city water. All those lots that were in existence at the time have since connected to city water, and the city has determined that there is no further need for this resolution to continue. Questions, discussions, or motions?
My question is did the contamination just disappear?
The contamination is still there. However, all the lots that were affected by the contaminated wells
Right.
have connected to city water.
Right.
So there's no further need to offer this to future developments.
So generally speaking, the policy of the city is when somebody wants to connect to a water or sewer, we require annexation. In this particular area, due to the contamination, going back 20 plus years, the city with the partners in the landfill put in a water utility out to that way. And there were original properties that either connected, settled through lawsuits, however they got it done, but over a period of time, every identified property had connected to the water source that was put out there, and they abandoned wells, right, because of the contamination. The FFNN site, or the Superfund site, continues to be monitored, continues to be managed by the group, so that is still an active, ongoing liability for the city and the partners that are in on it. What has happened over time is there have been properties outside of that original group that have built out there and connected, that, we're in an area and we're developed in an area where there is a well moratorium by the township. So what this is doing is it's saying any existing property out there or an original property that has yet to connect may connect, but any further subdivided lot or platted lot would need to annex into the city, right, to tap into the water system that is out there, going back to the policy that the city has for annexation for connection to utilities. So the original resolution and original intent of the water utility, we feel, has been served, and moving forward, there sets a new expectation for those outside of that.
The other question I had was, if somebody has property out there and they want to subdivide that or whatever, and they can't be an island in itself and then next to the city, they have to be connected to the city somehow?
Yeah, I mean,
As far as continued,
there's an annexation process,
Yes.
right? And, you know, there's certain levels of annexation, but we want general contiguous to the city border or contiguous properties to
Right.
get there. There have been balloon on a string annexations allowed within the state of Wisconsin, where you use right-of-ways and other things to get to a property. Generally speaking, in this area, you know, with who has connected, we don't know if that's going to be a problem, but it certainly is something that if it comes to that point, we will have to have a conversation with property owners in the township as well as a developer who would like to go out that way, right? If they want to access to the property or access to the utility.
Make a motion to resolution rescinding resolution number 2005-16.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Jonathan, second by John. John?
The question about township property annexing into the city, I asked that to Lud at our plan commission meeting, and he can probably better explain it, but there is compensation for the township for losing that.
The land. Yeah, it was resolved by legislation, 25 years ago. This was a very hot topic in terms of towns battling with cities to fight annexation of cities. And so ultimately, the legislature came up with a statute that says the city can, but the city must reimburse the township, I think it's 3 years, taxes going forward of the existing taxes, not for the development that's added on, but they get some compensation. So it ended the fights between towns and cities, and obviously the city's only real, carrot, if you will, that's left is water. Sewer can even be overcome by the Public Service Commission suggesting that sewers are failing. You have to include them even if you don't annex them. So there are really only one way that cities can expand without having to go through forced annexation, and that's connection to water. So we want to take back that authority, and this does both. It leaves open the door for those original parcels to still connect, but tells the world what they have to do to connect, and then obviously stops any future developments without annexation. So it does both.
Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
In a minute. If I can find. All right, Denkert,
Yes.
Lugatsky,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Reamer,
yes.
Sorensen,
Yes.
Split.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, moving on to our project updates and staff reports, starting with the 2026 budget schedule.
So in your packet is a copy of the 2026 budget schedule. I just wanted to make a note of this and give it to you all so you can kind of plan out if there's any meetings or special meetings for the 2026 budget. So one of the things I wanted to highlight is the city did this year launch a community budget feedback survey or questionnaire. So if residents, before and as we work on the budget, they can provide feedback for things they would like to see. the city invests in. We're prioritizing the budget, so just another layer of community feedback, so I wanted to make note of that. And then we'll continue to work on the budget, and overall, we'll schedule meetings beginning in August here on presenting to the Common Council, and you can kind of see the overall plan there with workshops and whatnot. So just for your information, if you have any questions, let me know.
Adam, is that survey available on the website?
It has been published on the website. It has been published on social media.
Social media?
It's live, and it's been live for 2-3 weeks.
Yep. Come to the office, pick up a copy?
It's online.
Okay, it's only online.
It's online. It's for residents, right?
Well, I mean, not everyone is online, so I was wondering if they had
It's-
paper copies
we can-
available.
We can
Yes,
print
okay,
copies
thank
if
you.
somebody really wants to do that.
All right, staff reports from other departments. PD? Public Works?
I don't have anything.
All right. Naomi? Adam, do you have anything else? All right. All right, I do have 2 appointments I'd like to make tonight, both for the library board. First one would be for Dakota Coots. This would be for a term ending on June 30th, 2027.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by John, second by Jonathan. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of appointing Dakota Coots to the library board, say aye.
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 Opposed? That is approved, thank you. And the other would be for Nancy Baird. This would be for a term ending June 30th, 2028.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Jonathan, second by Steve. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of appointing Nancy Baird to the library board, say aye.
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 Opposed? She is approved as well. Thank you. All right. Any future agenda items or comments from council? John?
I have a comment. On Saturday, I had the pleasant meal down at Jay's Barbecue with my family. Took a walk down Main Street, and I was completely shocked, disappointed with what I see around the trees. The concrete cutouts for the trees have no metal grate. Some have a metal grate. Most of them don't have a metal grate. There's an 1.5 to 2-inch step down where I believe bark mulch could be put in. Tree branches hanging over, weeds coming out of the metal containers, sticks and stones, and just, it looked trashy, and I'm upset. I pay extra every year in the bid district for the business improvement district for beautification, and I can't believe after a week of EAA that people had to look at that. I'm disappointed. I don't know if I'm throwing Alan with the DPW under the bus. I don't know who takes care of this, or if it's Ripon Main Street. I believe it's Ripon Main Street. But I would have everybody just take a walk downtown. I have pictures that I took today and printed off, but they're not that good of quality. I'm shocked. I'm disappointed that the city would even have that like that. And it's a safety hazard also. People could step off that concrete edge, twist an ankle. I think it should be rectified. Again, I don't know who I'm throwing under the bus, but I think I know who it is.
Thank you.
That's my comment.
Anyone else? Hearing none, at this time I'll seek a motion to adjourn to closed session under Wisconsin State Statute 19.851G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. Discussion tonight will be Public Works Facility Pay Application and Engineering Updates, and we'll also be reviewing council minutes for closed sessions on May 27th and June 23rd for accuracy.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by Ellen, second.
You want me to repeat?
No, that's fine.
All right.
Motion by Ellen, second by Mark. All those in favor of adjourning to closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll take 5 minutes here.